Zara is she's got a fantastic invention. She's going to do some highlights of her career and how she came up with her invention and where she is right now, and it's a great story. So excited to have her tonight at the Inventors Association meeting, and I'll let you go and talk about your background real quick.
Okay.
And we'll keep it, 15, 20 minutes, and then questions and answers,
Great.
and then we'll do some more networking afterwards.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi. Thank you. I'm Zara Merbaum, and I actually, Gary, in case I get in the weeds, just, guide me. It's been great talking to all of you. I just almost feel like I don't need to be up here. Other people need to come up. But so tonight's my night to talk about my product. But I came from originally the May Company. Graduated from Washington University with a degree in fashion design, and I worked in at May Company in women's ready-to-wear. And the label that I worked on was called Karen Scott, and we did 1 million units of everything. We were big fish. We could go to any country we want. We, could just write any orders we wanted. We could get whatever sampling we wanted. We could try anything. And that was a great job. And then, I don't know, I'm sure you're all aware that Macy's bought May Company out. And sadly, that was unfortunate because anyway, it was unfortunate, but we were invited to stay on and to move to New York City to continue with Macy's, but some of us just felt like we had other things planned for our lives and we wanted to try our own businesses, and so a lot of people broke off. Well, I broke off and wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, and for a little time I worked as a textile designer doing bedding in Bath for places like Kohl's, Target, and so I had my own freelance gig for a short time. And then I decided that I would move over to Soft Surroundings, who's in town, and growing exponentially now. They're just doing great. And at that time, I took a job as a fabric coordinator, which was not at all in my field of interest, but having come from May Company and working with a lot of different fabrics and design, I thought like there was something there that I could help them with. So I built a fabric library, and I helped them source fabrics from all over different countries, and then got involved in testing. And testing is a whole other animal. If you have businesses, you know that there are some pretty kooky tests that you have to do to make sure that your product is up to standard, that you can sell it, and that hopefully you're not going to have liability of any sort. So I enjoyed that career a lot, but then I decided it was time to have a family, and had a baby and moved out, left Soft Surroundings. I thought I might work there part-time, but it just wasn't really, it wasn't calling me. So what was calling me after a year of diaper bag and diapers and kids and all kinds of messes was the need to understand, to deconstruct a diaper bag. Diaper bags just didn't work for me. If any of you have kids, there's endless diaper bag digging, and your wife is like, get this, this, and this. Well, instead, I deconstructed it, and I compartmentalize the way you take care of your child. And also, I gave women the option to, instead of sacrificing their style, right? You have to buy a diaper bag that's boxy, and that's plastic, and that is waterproof. I decided, well, no, women, I came from the fashion industry, and women should be able to carry, or men, whatever bag they want, whether it's a backpack or a handbag, anything you want. So after that, I ended up, here's the finished product. These are what I call today motherload bags. The deconstruction is that you help take care of your child in 5 ways: diapering, snack, toys, clean clothes, and dirty clothes. So this is the diaper one. It holds many diapers. I decided I should probably backtrack. In the year that I was diapering and taking care of my kid, I realized that I use Ziploc bags because I didn't carry a diaper bag, and I felt guilty about wasting plastic bags in the environment, and we still kind of couldn't find everything. So I knew I had to color code the bags. I knew I wanted to see through them. I knew that I wanted them to be malleable so that they could fit anywhere you wanted, any way you wanted. I knew they needed to be lightweight. And so I went about constructing and trying to figure out what my product would be. I couldn't imagine leaving the design field. I needed to continue doing it. So I came up with this product, and I'm really embarrassed to show you because many of you already have businesses, but I brought initial prototypes just to enforce the idea that all of this was done in my basement, in home, on a sewing machine. And I didn't think through things very well initially, and I may not even have had a great sense of style, but what I was trying to do was make a product that was useful and practical above all, that it was designed well. So I have these goofy bags. At one point I also thought it was going to be a print, which I ran away from very quickly. But I just want to show you, this is the first dirty clothes bag. It was like a simple idea. You just put all the gross dirty clothes in and it would be, waterproof and simple. And then I thought, well, okay, that's well and good, but I need to move on. And I'm really embarrassed. This is all prototypes, just something that you're trying at home. And then I thought, well, no, I need to see through it and, for other objects. And so then I started making like these kind of weird bags out of, parachute fabric. And I made them, I'm sorry?
Why did the size change?
Size, well, because things are, you really do carry the mother load. Like, how much stuff do you carry for your kids? A ton. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. But so I figured after the year of spending time with my kids, I knew that, what I was carrying and what I needed. So I made the bags a bit bigger. This turned out to be too big. And also not functional. If it doesn't stretch, you can't fit whatever you want in them. So that was down.
The parachute fabric, is that waterproof too?
It was, yeah. You can get it coated. So you could have it coated in a color, you could have it see-through coated. And so then I moved on to, I had a pair of pajamas. And I would wear them, and they were made out of this, what you call in the fashion industry, illusion fabric. Are you familiar with that, Kate? It's like stretchy illusion. It's in the dance world a lot and in lingerie. And you can tell, this is the bag that I tried out for a long time. And I didn't love the size. And I realized, why square? Why am I thinking so square? Why do things have to be square? It's like totally inefficient. It's not a good way to sew things together. These are other things where I designed very busy patterns. I was just trying all kinds. You just go through these different ideas. One has a pocket, one, just a ton of different ideas. And then one day it occurred to me, the squares are causing me so many problems. Like, how do you fold? I even tried like an elastic band that would go around, and that worked okay, but it didn't look great. And then finally, we ended up with the rounded corners. And no print, because I think that's not really, the print wasn't, it didn't make sense to me. So I got rid of the print, and instead I went for embroidery. And I think that turned out, so the embroidery, so today this is what it looks like, how they're sold. diaper, dirty clothes, clean clothes, snacks, toy. And we have little emblems, and we give you ideas of what can go in the bags. Sure, anyone is welcome to check them out. Yeah, thank you.
It's a diaper bag organizer.
It's a diaper bag organizer, but the truth is, all of these things fit in any bag, and you can say, oh my gosh, okay, the baby needs a binky. Hey, my husband's name is Mark. Mark, can you grab the green bag? So he knows, he just grabs the one bag. He's not digging, and you're looking endlessly for the binky. Or, I need a snack, you grab this, can I have the yellow bag? It really helps kind of ease the conversation between, you're already stressed, you're not sleeping, you don't want to give your husband the eyeball roll because, you feel guilty, you want to be kind to him. Oh yeah, all you have to do is say green, blue, orange, yes.
How long did it take you from your first idea to start selling them?
That's a very good question. Okay, so the first idea, it took me a year to come up with the name Motherload. So that's a problem in and of itself. And then I had another child in between that time. And I'm really a one-man band, like I am distribution center. I am right now guerrilla marketing, Instagram girl, all kinds of stuff. So I'm kind of doing this essentially almost all on my own, and I've hired some consultants occasionally. But I would say I've been selling in earnest about 2.5 years. And before that, I was selling small amounts, so maybe 2 years of figuring out before I got to real production in China. Yes?
Do you have sales growth percentage or anything like that you'd like to share?
Well, we doubled our sales every year. I've now about 2.5 years in since we've done China production, and we've doubled our sales, which has been great. And this year is looking even more promising because I did end up getting that distribution. So, the internet's a very funny thing. I guess I should backtrack on a few things, but the whole marketing of an idea that doesn't exist is so difficult. When you go to a store and you want to buy pants, you just go and you say, oh, here's some pants, right? Well, not for these. This is not under anything like baby gear, or it's just, nobody knows about them. So what do, right? If you don't have $200,000, $500,000 to spend, you start finding other avenues. So I got immediately on Zulily. I don't know if any of you know what that is. Jane.com, baby steals. I had to be prepared to almost give these things away. I didn't. I still make a profit. But you have to be prepared to teach a customer to give your product out when nobody knows what it is. And that has been a huge learning curve for me. And I had to be willing to, maybe not make as much as I wanted to make initially. So, yeah.
How did you get to China, and how important was it to pick the right partner?
Crazy, insane important. I tried originally doing manufacturing in New York City. I thought this is the way I can control. Well, no, let me step back. I came from a company. I was a big fish. I'm like, I'm going to call all my contacts. It's going to be no problem. I can do this. Production's going to be nothing. And it was awful. My contacts didn't come through. I was such a little fish. You quickly learn that you are a nobody when you don't have the big company behind you.
What makes you a little fish?
The little fish, your orders, right? It's money. Everything is about money. I mean, you can't pretend that it's not. It's really, if you're not ordering, even now I'm a little fish, essentially. I put in about 10,000 orders when I do production. So 10,000 units, which is still a pretty little fish, you know? It's not.
What made you decide after going through the whole New York process to go overseas with your?
So New York. So what was I using before in my not so conventional diaper bag? I was using Ziploc bags, and I realized if I'm competing against a Ziploc bag, I got to have a price point that makes sense. And when I was in New York City, I realized quickly that I really didn't have as much control as I thought I would have, and that the price point just was not reasonable. I couldn't compete with the possibility of someone deciding, well, I'll just use a Ziploc bag instead of these. So that was hard. And I always felt like I knew I needed to go overseas, but I didn't want to make a product that was going to be so throwaway and crappy. I mean, these people hold on to these. They use them now for the gym. They use them to pack, you know, put their socks, put their underwear in, put their kids' stuff. So they're reusable, and I'm working on, you know, expanding the line into other areas at this point, as well as other colorways. That's the other thing with the, you know, I would have wanted to do at least 3 other colorways right off the bat. But if you don't really have the money and you're a small fish, you need to kind of calculate exactly what your market, you know, what is your market really going to respond to, and then you need to wait. For me, it wasn't smart to expand into another colorway when nobody knew what my product was anyway. Why would I offer them 2 colorways until people knew?
How many times have you ordered and have you been consistent in quality?
That's a good question. I'm going on my 3rd order, and I had one issue with the Stretch Illusion fabric that I didn't like. The order that came back she got it right. It was perfect, and I really think she's an excellent manufacturer. I have no issues with her. I think that they did kind of sub out work at another factory, and that can happen. That's part of the problem. If you don't have boots on the ground in China, you know, where you have someone representing you and checking stuff out, you can run into those issues. And really, you know, I was making a conscious decision, mainly because I had a family, not to fly over. So every step of the way I had to work through every detail, and it was exhausting. And you don't know what you're getting until you get those boxes, right?
So did you accept the full run, or were you able to make some kind of a contractual something with your manufacturer?
Right. It wasn't. Yeah. Yes. No, she said, she goes, look, if you find a group of, you know, if you find things that are not workable, that you cannot sell, send them back to me, we'll remake them. We were able to sell it. It was not my idea. Like, you know, I came from the fabric world, so I know what I love. And this was just slightly off, and I'm a detail-oriented person, so it like the fabric didn't have the right snapback that I wanted, but it snapped back. So it wasn't that it was defective at all. It just wasn't up to my standard.
So onto that point, did they do a prototype for you?
Yes, always ask for. They did multiple prototypes.
So the factory, before it went into full production, they switched out that fabric?
What happened was, this is what you have to be careful with. Sometimes when you're buying a large quantity of fabric, and this happens even as big fish, the very ends of the fabric get funny. And I think that they tried to use the first, like, you should tell your manufacturer, don't give me the first garbage rolls, the first, you know, wouldn't you say that you've worked with? You tell them, I'm not taking the first 10 yards, first 20 yards of any fabric that comes off of a roll, because it's usually not woven exactly to the specs it's supposed to be. It takes a while for the machines to like get it right. Also, in the process of rolling it, there are sometimes issues where they tried to tell me, it was really funny, they tried to tell me, oh, it stretches out and it's gonna come back. And I was like, this is such bullshit. This is not true. And you're lying, and if it doesn't work and people don't like it, you're getting this stuff back. You have to be firm. You can't, especially in China, I always believe in being considerate and kind and thankful, but you have to work through the problems and bring them up and talk through them. And
When you say you went to New York, what efforts locally did you make? I know a lot of fabric places in
Yes.
Missouri
yeah,
that make stuff that people don't know it's a here. So I'm a big USA person.
yes,
Even our hats and everything. So since everything's made in USA, even our hats are made here in Missouri. So we find, and we get real good pricing. So I'm wondering, did you look locally for?
it's not the fabric so
I'm
much.
talking about pricing along with
For labor,
everything. I mean, I found good prices in Missouri.
I'd like to talk to you. I'd
Yeah.
love to do something. I mean, I have other friends, and I was like, isn't there a way that we can have a sewing community here, a manufacturer here that, we can compete with the prices? I didn't find it. But I'll tell you, one of the first productions early on that I did at my test market production, I think I only did 2,000 bags at that point. Was Sandy's Fashions. Does anybody know the guy from Sandy's Fashions? I don't even know if they still exist. His wife had a cut and sew business, and he opened a factory, and it used to be on Washington Avenue. They've since moved to somewhere behind the SLU Hospital, and I think his son is running it. But we worked together on the prototype, I did all of the initial, but the price point, I couldn't make it work. And I had really, literally no choice, I felt. Because I tried California, I tried all over the place. It was,
As a parent,
yes,
and it's when it's your kid, I would definitely, even with price point, throw away the Ziplocs and be going with something you got.
thank you.
Because, it's your kid, it's your children.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm thinking there's a huge difference between a Ziploc and what you have.
I think there is, and I think there's a lot of opportunity. I talked to Gary about this. Having come from the fashion community and making a lot of garments that I wouldn't wear myself, I have a lot of guilt environmentally. So I wanted to make a product that wasn't throwaway, that people could, envision using. And yes, it has an embroidery for children, and at some point it probably won't. We'll be growing in a different way and continuing always the mother lode idea and concept, but we'll be changing. Yes.
What's your retail price point?
Retail for the entire set is $50 or $49.95 on Amazon.
Do you sell it yourself?
I do. And I guess I forgot to mention, Amazon is an animal that is just horrific, I think. I don't know. I'm trying to understand it. So if there are people here who have a great grasp on Amazon, I'd love to talk to you about it. But I just started a distributor. Believe it or not, the Middle East, the GCC countries, which are Oman, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, I just started working with a distributor to distribute out there. Somehow they're taken off, and people love them. So that's been like a new business that I never intended on having, but it's a welcome. It's a great thing.
Have you ever thought about trying to approach like QVC?
Yes, a lot of people, HSN and QVC. I have thought about it. I haven't done it, and I need to approach Still Bye Bye Baby. But I felt like I didn't know if the product had the right price point yet. You know, I think I'll need to invest a lot more money in bigger production to be able to compete at those prices. And maybe make some changes design-wise, but could be. I'd love to talk to you about it. So anyway, this is where I'm at. I'm still very humble. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
That diaper bag has, I guess, foam in there, is that changing platform, the changing table?
It has a foam pad for changing the diaper bag, yeah.
Okay, so that they pull it out and use it. When you get the bags from China, are they packaged with the print on it and everything, or what?
Yes.
No,
Yep.
Then you kind of alluded to, you might sell the bags separately.
I do. I sell the bags in 8 different SKUs. One is a total collection. Then I have 2 mini collections. One is called Time on Your Side, and one is like spare pair. And then I sell them also singularly.
So when you got 10,000 orders, is that a container full of them or something like that, or how's that?
No. I ship in a mixed container. I'm not at. These things are super lightweight, ultra compactable, so they don't take up much space. Oh, that reminds me. I did want to mention this for anybody who's doing some product overseas, and if you have a unique product. At one point, I was told, are you familiar with the harmonized tax code? It's this crazy, nutty code that you kind of maybe assign yourself, but then you get assigned, right? That you fall into this kooky code. Well, they decided that I was in the diaper bag code, which is 18% that you get taxed the minute it hits the U.S. It was insane. I'm like, I'm not a diaper bag. You are allowed to fight that code. I fought it down to something that was nearly very close to a laundry bag, and that was at 7%. So I thought that was something good to give to people that you can.
Harmonized tariff code.
Tax.
I'll write that down. Aaron has another question back there, and then
If you want to answer, what is your manufacturing cost per item?
If I want to answer it?
If you want to answer it.
so a rough idea would be, 5 times the retail, divide by 5 or divide by 4 is kind of
Oh
rough.
gosh, don't ask me retail math. It's low. It's low, but we can get it lower. I know I can do
Not
it.
low enough to get on QVC, because they want
They want bottom.
not 40.
Yeah, right.
So what did you learn when you did some market research with your current customers, which is very important to inventors or people that are selling their product? Listen to your customer. So I encourage Zara to do some market research with her current
Yeah.
customers, and you just did that this last week.
Yeah, I
and
did.
You learned a lot.
Yeah, it's something I should have done a long time
So share
ago.
with the group. This is very, very important. to do
yeah.
some market-
I sent out an email I've been collecting emails and, of customers who bought from me. And so I sent out an email questionnaire about expanding, and these were my ideas, and these are the next colorways. What do you prefer? Blah, blah, blah. And I got back very interesting information. A lot of people aren't going to answer you, but if you offer a discount for a new set of something or whatever, it helps. And I got good information about the colorway, and I was able to find out that I asked about a neutral colorway, which I originally wanted to do, and then a pastels and possibly a metallics kind of mixed higher end one, which has always been on my list. And really, I think people are responding to a mix of pastels and neutrals. I didn't get back a lot of ideas about what else people were looking for. I think you have to be very thoughtful in the way that you answer, that you write your questions and to talk to your customers. But I felt encouraged, and I think that there's a lot of interest still. And you know, always check your Amazon, what do you call the customer?
The star rating.
Yeah.
The feedback.
Yeah, always check your feedback. That's like, they're telling you the best thing that you could ever know. Yes.
How many different suppliers in China do you source from, and what's your process for finding those suppliers?
Just one. I worked with one. I found a baby, almost by accident, a baby manufacturer who did like kind of baby blankets and different things. It was certainly not from any contacts that I originally had.
So you didn't do like Alibaba or?
I did when I was doing production in the U.S. I did use Alibaba, and I think that that's reliable. I didn't have any problems. I mean, I got zippers, I got whatever I needed, and at really good pricing. So it's just the labor and the manufacture, you know, the putting it together that really is the most stressful. Yeah.
You mentioned testing. How did you find out who was the right authority to tell you what you needed to test it for?
It's fairly arbitrary. So except for in the baby world. Now my product is not remotely, it's called Mother Load. It's for parents. It's not for babies. So I have totally different testing regulations. The baby world is, you know, there's a lot there and you could go on. But I knew of them from having worked at May Company and Soft Surroundings. So there's Bureau Veritas, and they do everything. Like when you start working with a retailer and they want you to test, the retailer is going to send you what tests they want. Usually, that's what happens. If you just want to know for yourself, like you can wash this bag 50 times without the color changing or fading, you can pay for that. It's not that expensive. But the retailers usually send you a list, and when you get an order from them and they say, we want you to test, we want you to have a certain kind of, you know, label code, we want you to, all of that costs money. So before you give them a price, you say, what is it that you need from me? And then I'll quote you my best price. That's the way you have to work backwards.
Yeah, we probably.
Sorry.
We'll probably have to close this, and we can talk right outside. I'm sure you'll be flooded with people, questions. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you.